Okay, we're all set. We're all set.
Fire protection meeting, June 11th, 2020, called to order via teleconference. Minutes, everybody received a copy of the minutes of the previous meeting, March 5th. I'll entertain a motion.
Motion to accept.
Make a motion. Second.
Discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? No opposed. Minutes passed. Minutes accepted. Comments? Any comments? I have a comment, I guess, on that because I can relate to this. As I tried several times, one time I tried to get in and if you don't have, I didn't have readily have my identification number. It said just press pound. Well, press pound, it allows you into the meeting with no audio, so you have no comment. So we just want to let people know that if there is public out there that they can't make comment. So, anyhow, moving right along, the DCP investigative report was received by email today.
Yes, this is Pamela Brown, Director of Investigations.
Oh, okay. I didn't know you were there, Pamela, Director. Go ahead.
Right. Pamela did send over Pamela or Janita sent over the investigations, the complaint report this morning. And I did email it to everyone. I'm not sure, maybe some people didn't get a chance to check it. So not sure what Pam wants to.
I received it. That's got it.
Okay,
Right, that's all.
I can talk about it. It is an anonymous complaint that was submitted to us for unlicensed work. However, the investigator did speak with the respondent and they had a change in staff. So there was not an intent to be unlicensed. One person resigned or may have been let go and they were in the process of bringing on a new staff member. And our investigation revealed that they had actually submitted the application to our License Services Division. It was in pending status at that time. So the file was closed. There was not a civil penalty assigned. I think the investigation was completed based on the information that we have. As you know, when we receive anonymous complaints, the information is somewhat limited, and so we were able to get cooperation from the respondents.
Okay. Thank you for the report, Director. I appreciate that. Anybody have any questions? Hearing none, we'll move along. Applications.
I have a comment on that.
Okay.
Is my video on? I found that where it says application report on the agenda, the date where I put that it would be November 29th, 2019 to present was a mistake. That should have read March 4th, 2020 to present. And having said that, when I did run that report, there were no applications approved on it. And the reason being is because shortly after March 4th of 2020, PSI closed and everything happened the way it did. So the application report of 3/4/2020 to present, not showing you because there's nothing on it. There were no new applications approved.
Right, well, we have to realize under the circumstances, after our last meeting on March 5th, everything kind of went,
Right.
the brakes got put on.
Right. So I did run the report, but nothing has happened, and they're just starting to go forward now. So that's all I wanted to report.
So going forward part is we're just starting to accept applications. Is that what you're saying?
PSI is just opening up after all this time. So,
Yep.
and they're just starting to go through the applications. So it's going to be a backlog.
So PSI, PSI has applications on their desk to process.
I'm assuming so. I mean, I don't know for sure, but that's what I'm assuming. So,
But don't these applications go through the state office before it goes to PSI?
those PSI first.
PSI
Bob?
first, okay. Yep.
On the PSI question, all applications go to PSI first. PSI enters minimum amount of data into their system. They
Yep.
scan the application and all attachments, and they forward them to us for review.
Okay,
So,
I just want to refresh my memory, that's all.
yeah, they just started on Monday, giving us processing all the applications since back in March 5th or 15th, whenever it was. They're processing them now, and they're uploading them to us. They did an upload on Monday, Tuesday, and also one for today, or yesterday, I mean, and we'll get another one today. So they're going through all their stacks of applications and depositing the checks and approving people that have a apprenticeship completion letter through the state of Connecticut, Department of Labor, and all the rest go into pending status and get forwarded to us for our application working group when that time comes.
Have they made, are applicants able to test now?
They were tested about 2 weeks ago in Milford, Connecticut, and then someone claimed somebody else had COVID and they couldn't verify anything. So they just shut the site down and they cleaned the site for a week and then they opened it back up again. And we also have the West Hartford site, which so far has been good. And Springfield, this gets used a lot near Chicopee. And that one's been fine. So people are slowly taking exams. They're all booked up until the end of July already with people that need to take an exam. Because when the shutdown occurred, they had people in the queue for taking exams, March, April, and May, and they were all put on hold. So they're reassigning dates and calling all those people and having them pick a new test date and possibly a new location if they want to change it, and rescheduling everybody.
Okay.
So this has to do with all the occupations we have. It includes real estate appraisal. It includes land surveyors for the Connecticut portion exam, and of course, all the 6 licensing boards in Chapter 393. So it's quite a project.
Yeah, getting open, getting everything back on track.
Yep. But they're not charging people. They're refunding money. They're adding additional days for the people to take a test because everybody has up to 1 year to take a test. So even if you were Johnny come lately in March and that you picked the last date you could possibly take the exam, they're still going to get a 90-day extension because they were closed for 90 days. So
Yeah.
So everybody's being cut slack as much as possible, and I'm sure they're losing money for a while, but hopefully it'll get back on track completely.
Okay, good.
Okay. All right, old business. First item is the backflow prevention device. There was I don't know if you want to call it a determination sent out, included in this mailing. And I guess I have a question. My first question is, who made this determination? I guess that's to you, Richard.
Yeah, hang on a minute. Let me get to that document.
And I guess not only who, but when, because as I'm reading and I see bold and underlined, it seems to me that it's new or changes, or are you just doing that to point out?
Let's see here. Gotcha, Cal.
I'm not getting any audio. I don't know if it's anybody else.
No, I'm here. I'm looking it up. Here it is.
Oh,
I have to go back to the email where we got all the attachments. Okay, so this is the one. Right, potable water systems are installed by licensed plumbers. And then they install the backflow prevention device, which is a demarcation point where irrigation people or fire sprinkler fitters can pick up from that point. So I'm not sure what the question is.
We're talking about this being the current regulation now?
Well, there is another document I have here. I guess the problem would be if it's a combination fire main, then, then I guess you could argue, the F1s do work within a structure on systems. But we've never said that F1 couldn't do the combination fire main coming in.
They're dedicated, not combination, but I mean, I'm just, what I'm saying is, if it's
dedicated, right, dedicated.
if it's a dedicated fire line, why would it be in here that the plumber has to put the backflow in? And when did this transpire? Because it's strange, but I'm finding things out that I've always felt were past practices, I guess, that seem to have changed, and I don't want to say during COVID-19, but, it's strange.
Yeah, this came up a few months ago, and I tried to find the documents we had related to the subject. So
Right, John,
let me dig deeper here. There's another document that we're missing that I think I passed out at one of the meetings last year.
Truthfully, this is a topic I'd like to discuss in person, not over the phone and with everybody's present, because, like I say, I'm reading this thing and I'm seeing, I don't know, is this recent changes, or has this been since 1969? What?
Let me see here. Hang on.
Can you guys hear me?
If you want to just table it for the next meeting, because I got other documents I think I've shared with you in previous board meetings, which explains how it all came together.
Well, is there a motion to table it till so we can meet in person?
If that's what the board wants to do.
Well, I think that this definitely, I read the same thing too, and I think that the whole thing needs to be clarified or rewritten or something. It's definitely different than the practices we've been working with for the last 20 years.
Right. That's
At least the fire protection industry.
So is there a motion to table?
Let's put it this way. Is an in-person meeting going to be possible in the near future?
Well, we don't know, but maybe if I send you some documents related to it, then you can, review them, and then you could contact the board can give their opinion or whatever, and we can forward it to the legal division, and they could do a further analysis of it.
So I'll make a motion to table the discussion on backflow preventers until further information is provided. Further information is provided for clarification, and a possible in-person meeting scheduled. How's that?
I second.
All right, seconded.
Yep.
Who seconded
Discussion.
that?
I did. Tony did.
Tony, okay. Yes, yeah, it would be best if you guys say your name when when you do
Oh,
second
okay.
things. I can't always tell. And then just before I forget, I want to remind everyone to try and keep your mics off. There's a little bit of background noise. Unless you're speaking, obviously. Okay. Thank you.
All in favor, signify by saying aye.
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 Kevin,
Which one?
both of you. You
Aye,
got vote?
Add on, aye.
aye, aye. You got ayes from both Kevins.
Any opposed? All right, the motion carried. All right, so that would table that. All right, next item is the limited multipurpose residential license. Again, under the COVID-19, everything's been shut down. I've gotten some emails. I was hoping well, I guess we don't have the public participation. I know Dave was probably listening in. The emails I got is they were trying to coordinate for July, but I guess part of it has to do with the social distancing. The other dates I was given was maybe September 14th, 16th, 17th. So as of right now, that class is basically on hold or up in the air because, again, because of the conditions we're living under now. So that's all I have to report on that. Unless, Richard, you have anything further or anybody? But that's the latest emails and communications that I've had with National Fire Sprinkler Association.
Well, Dave LeBon is online here.
Yeah, I can talk. So, yeah,
Oh, you're,
yeah, I'm on. So, yeah,
I didn't know if they were talking.
it's been postponed a few times. And so what we're working on right now, folks, is, so we tentatively scheduled in September 15th, 16th, and 17th at the Connecticut Fire Academy. And I'm waiting to hear back from the state fire administrator if he's going to be allowed to do concurrent programs in that building. He's got a recruit class going on, so he's got to get permission to do two things in that building. If we were to do it, and I think we would be doing it there, quite frankly, we'd have to do the social distancing, obviously. We'd have to do the masks. So I think it's going to be a challenge for people to sit in the classroom for 8 hours a day with a mask on. But that's in the books. So what we're working behind the scene right now actively is developing a virtual class for that residential class. And I think if we're successful in doing that, we would have it before September. And it probably would be spread out more than 3 days just because of someone having to sit at their computer for that length of time. So those are the two things we're working on. So to recap, it's in the books for September 15th, 16th, and 17th. And we're working on a virtual class. And I think if we were to do that, the earliest that would be in August, because June and July are completely booked up for our NFSA folks. And in addition, we've got close to 30 people that registered for it, that we have their money. They didn't want their money back, so we're holding it. And, once we announced that we're postponing it, there's been several other calls that I've taken in, and our NFSA training coordinator, she's taken in also some calls. So I think we probably would be over 30 people.
Okay, well, thank you for that report.
You're welcome.
Any questions, anything further on that? All right, item 3, discussion regarding application review, credit license. Continue to work with all of the group. They had the one review Bob handled, like I say, that's last month.
There was additional information that we required from that application. Did we ever get that, Rich? You wouldn't.
I don't. Do you remember the applicant's name? Because we can
No.
look it up.
We can check it afterwards if I
He
can
did?
look into that.
I mean-
If I don't know.
Okay.
Well, we sent up, after the working group, we sent all the applications back for whatever items we are looking for. So we'll have to look that up for you.
Just curious, that's all.
Yeah. They may be stuck, someplace because of the COVID issue, but I don't think so. I think we just follow-up documentation to us.
Okay.
What are we gonna do after we can't blame everything on COVID? All right, proposed legislation, I don't think anything's happened with any of that, because basically after our last meeting, the session was suspended or whatever, so I don't believe there's any, unless you have any knowledge, Rich, or I don't have any on the foam or the
No,
economic.
nothing that I'm aware of.
Okay, thank you. Number 5, decrease in number of licenses. The report was sent out. The calculations, just to, comparing 2016 to now, there was 2016, there was 140 more total licenses, total. Back in 2002, there was 572. So the numbers are dwindling. Part of it, like as I reported, if you go back to 2002, a lot of it's the people that had the grandfather or whatever and since either left the industry or whatever. But it's probably, as I say, the 1384 that was sent out in the report today, or we received, is probably a true report of fire protection. So I don't know if anybody has any further on licensing.
Well, I think that it's difficult to really judge whether the drop is affecting the industry at all with, the way, COVID has affected, work and so forth. But so I think that certainly the industry will level itself with need versus supply. And we should just kind of keep an eye on this in the future.
Well, I sort of, I mean, again, when we talk about it, I don't recall hearing any shortages of manpower or whatever. As we have said in the past, if it ever comes to that, we'll address, the issue will be addressed, appropriately.
Yep, I agree.
Construction career day. I assume that was canceled too, Bob.
The construction career day was canceled for the year.
Yeah. Moving right
I
along.
think it's gonna. I think that's gonna maybe take a different. It may not be, because of this whole thing, it may never be the same. It may be completely change the type of show that it would be. As we all know, this COVID is changing the approach to a lot of different things. So this could be one of them.
New business. I have an item on the new business since our last meeting. I was asked a question regarding a applicant that I happened to see. It was in one of the reports, and the individual had just received a F2 license, or actually, I'm sorry, back last report that we received back in December, he was pending for an F2 license. He has since obtained an F1 license. I just guess my question will be addressed to Richard. How does this happen?
Well, first I need the name of who you're talking about. And
Okay, I'll give it to you.
I'm going to look it up now.
I was asked by an individual, like I say, his name is Michael C. Yusakevich. I'll spell it for you. USZAKIEWICZ.
Yeah, and wasn't that the one where his father died or was put away?
No, I thought that was Brake, wasn't it? Roger Brake?
No, he was, the father was incarcerated, but I believe he was out of jail when this happened or whatever.
I think, hang on. How are you spelling his last name?
USZAKIEWICZ.
Okay, so he had an F2.
When did he obtain his F2?
Hang on. Okay, so his father was Michael L. And then Michael C. obtained his F2 in November 2019. And
December meeting,
he completed the apprenticeship program.
not disputing that.
Pardon me?
I'm not
He can't-
disputing that.
Hang on. He was a Los Angeles, California United Association sprinkler fitter, local 709, it looks like. He was initiated in 2016, and he was allowed to take the test for the F2. And then, hang on. And then he applied for the F1. He wanted his journeyman experience in California counted, so he got credit for that. And that allowed him to take the F1 exam.
All right, Rich, can I ask you a question, interject here? You said he was initiated in 2016 and he tested in 2019.
Yeah.
And he was a journeyman already in California?
Hang on, I'll go back to that application.
Well, but that's what I'm saying. When somebody other than somebody with, somebody that's just looking at this, pushing papers, doesn't see these things.
Yeah, right now I'm trying to find the hardship letter because the father was incarcerated. That's what I think it was, Dave. It was a combination of father being incarcerated and he had to take over the family business and he wanted credit for his journeyman experience and
All right.
apprenticeship
All right,
experience.
I'll give you look for the letter, Rick, but I'm gonna, the person that raised this issue to me, you know, it's a totally new company. It's not taking over a family business.
Well, the father had an F1 license and was doing contracting work.
Yeah.
And the kid wanted to take over, came back from California because his father was being incarcerated.
I could see if it would, again, when you're saying the family business, but when you start a whole new business, that's not the family business.
You know, we don't get involved in the paperwork part of it. Maybe
No.
we decide, we had here MLU Company, 8 West Street, Plantsville, Connecticut, was the father's, he was a contractor of record for, 100% ownership. That's what I see here so far.
Okay. All right, like I say, Rich, you got to understand. It's like I get asked a question. They'll say, "Well, what are you guys doing on the board? Don't you know what's going on?" And so I'm asking the questions.
You know, I understand. It's fine. It takes me time to look this all back up again because it goes back to it.
And I'll give you time. Like I say, you could table it till the next meeting. But like I say, it's you know, I owe this person an answer because he's asking me, don't you guys do anything, review applications? And I have to say, well, we've kind of been taken out of our hands and it's done by the department. And
He went through a union apprenticeship program, which I suppose it was a different local number in California, but it was United Associations, which now, since then, everybody's 669. And that includes.
I don't think anybody's questioning that, Rich. I think the questioning part is, you know, this hardship, the waiving of the 3-year waiting between the F2 and the F1.
The 2-year waiting period.
Or
Because he
2
wanted
years,
credit
rather.
for his journeyman time. So I just found the letter from the law firm, Brendan Fox Jr., attorney at law, explaining the circumstances of the father and asking for the relief so that the kid could continue whatever jobs the father had going. Whether or not they change the corporation name or whatever, for whatever reason, that has nothing to do with getting a license.
I thought the father had sold the business several years ago.
Well,
Is that not true, Dave? Didn't that business get sold?
I believe, to my knowledge, yes. This is something, again, it shouldn't be done over the phone here. I mean, over video or, you know, but the question was raised to me. I'm raising the question to the department, and I don't think it should be a closed issue because, like I say, I think this is one of the instances where something fell through the cracks or got through the cracks, so to speak. The way I read it, I mean, to me, it's a hardship. If my son wanted to take the business over, I died or whatever, that's a hardship, and he's working there. But for him to go out and if we have a family quarrel, I'm not saying that, we have a family quarrel and he wants to go start his own business, that's not a hardship.
well, then you send me proof that there was a family quarrel and the law firm and the son lied to us.
I didn't say a family quarrel. I was citing an example, Rich.
Right. I don't know how much you know about this entire case here. I got the court documents and everything from 2019, so 2018, but I'm not going to read them.
All right. Well, I don't have them either, but I mean, you know, like I say.
And all we do is weigh out. He took all school-related instruction required. He went through a bona fide apprenticeship program that we would accept, and it was this he has a hardship, and he also had journeyman experience in California. And so it was given to him based upon all those facts.
Mike, all right, I'll go back a question. You made a statement. You said earlier he was initiated in, I believe you
In
said,
2016,
what date does it say?
that was with the union doing sprinkler work for the union.
Fine, but he's still got to do time. He's got to do at least 4 years, correct?
He did his 4 years.
All right, you're saying that he did. Unless
He
he
has a
started
United
January.
Association Apprenticeship Completion Certificate.
Okay. Rich, the simple math, I'm not trying to get in an argument here.
I understand
he
the
started-
math part, David, and you know, just because he got, you know, the guy is hang on here,
What's that?
hang on.
All right.
I'm going back to his F2 application here. Certificate of Apprenticeship Completion was from the United Association, Local 709, Los Angeles, California. He was initiated as a journeyman sprinkler fitter in 2016. 5/23/2016, he became a journeyman sprinkler fitter with Local 709.
He was initiated as a journeyman in 2016. Okay.
Right. His card says BTJ sprinkler fitter, and his name, United Association, and it was 5/23/2016 initiated, Local 709, Los Angeles, California.
Okay.
So he was already a journey person, level person in 2016.
And he got
All
his
right,
license in Connecticut when?
Hang on. Let me-
2019.
Hang on. Come on, computer. In 2019. And then he asked for a waiver because that's why he flew out here, because he took, I told him, no, you gotta take the F2 first, and then we can consider waiving the journeyman experience because of the hardship, because he was a licensed journey person in California. Or a journey, not licensed necessarily, but he was a journeyman sprinkler fitter in California since 2016.
All right.
That's where he's at. And if you have issues like this, you should give me a heads up before a meeting, because this way I have a chance to look up some information. But whatever time you want to take, I'm glad to help you.
I apologize, but it was something that was raised up to me recently, and I should have given you a heads up, Rich.
And I'll get backflow prevention information for you.
So basically what the state did was the state gave him credit for his licensed fitter time in California towards the waiver. That's
Right.
basically it.
Correct. And there was no doubt that his equivalent journeyman time, based upon him also having that hardship, because of the fact that he was in a union journey sprinkler fitter. So it wasn't like just some letter from somebody else saying, yeah, he did journeyman work. You know, he was actually indentured as a journeyman or acting as a journey person.
Well, I can understand why somebody would raise the question, because that company had a lot of serious issues with it.
Well, they did, and the court case actually pretty much got finalized, you know, in 2018 and 2019. So
I'll just, like I say, I don't want to say I'm the ombudsman for an individual, but I was asked a question, I told him I would get the answer because he was pretty adamant when, like, and trust me, I don't appreciate somebody making an innuendo to me like we're not doing our job on the board, because like I say, when it stations, the only time we see it is if somebody has a serious question in the department and they want to call in somebody for advice. So, like I say, it's just, to me, the way it was explained to me, it seemed like there was something improper was done. And I still question the fact that it was a hardship with it being a new business. So the way it was explained to me, it's a totally new company. To me, that's not a hardship.
Well, we only get involved with individuals, David. So if a law firm said to them, look, the other company has a lot of court cases and judgments against it, et cetera. In order for you to do whatever you need to do to help your father out, you're going to have to start a separate corporation or LLC. So I can understand that. He doesn't want to drag all that previous fraud issues from federal court and everything else into a new company.
Right.
Well, not everybody has that information like you do, so you could see how somebody from the outside could question it.
Right. And, there's no question this was a close call for Teddy. Thank God he was a journeyman sprinkler fitter in California, or he would have had to wait 2 years, or they would have had to hire an F1 off the street.
Yep.
All right. Okay.
All right.
Thank you for your explanation on that. Any other new business? Nothing further. Correspondence? Karen, any correspondence?
Nope.
Comments or concerns of the person present tonight?
When, Rich, is there any timetable for you guys to go back to the office, or?
We'll probably be working from home. So we go in period. Yeah, for the foreseen future. We do go in. Karen goes in maybe for an hour or two every week because we still have the United States Post Office delivering to us, and she goes in and sorts all the mail, and divvies up, the 33 different applications, any documents related, and emails each individual with scanned copies of what came in the mail, so that each of the staff persons can upload it to credential screens or act on it. And then the appraisal people come in. They're coming in today for an hour or 2 hours, and so we some of the staff goes in periodically, but it's basically for items that either get faxed to our fax number there, or that happens to get missed, or the U.S. mail to sort through packages of, like we have well drilling completion reports still come by mail, and we have all supporting documentation from applicants that don't go to PSI once they've applied, that comes directly to us. So.
Rich, you said you'd be working from home. Is that permanently or just?
For the foreseen future, we'll be working from home.
The foreseen future? So, I mean,
well, for whatever, I don't know, at least for 3 more months, it looks like we'll be working from home, I don't know, David. As far as I know, we're all working from home until we hear differently.
I want to work from your home with looking at the background behind you. That's where I want to live. I want to live overlooking that lake there.
Yeah.
Where are you, in the Carolinas? Where are you, down in the Carolinas?
No, that's a picture from Gainesville, Florida.
Oh, this is a picture?
Yeah, I baked it.
Oh.
We got heavy rain coming down now.
They said the western part of the state was going to get clobbered soon.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it's coming down really heavy right now.
All right. Well, I want to apologize for my computer illiteracy. I guess but I also want to say I think the whoever this Jason is that set this up, I did email him as recent as yesterday for best means of communicating and, whatever, and all I got was the same email back, so, but again, I'm not a, Gen Xer or whatever, so I'm not, computer savvy. It takes me a little time. Again, I apologize for not getting, holding up the meeting.
You gotta get one of your grandchildren to work on this with you, Dave.
Social distancing, Bob. Can't have the grandkids come in. The governor says
I'm with
so.
you. I haven't seen my grandchildren in person in 3 months.
Well,
Yeah,
last
me
week,
neither. I see them by FaceTime.
I'm to the point, you can go to the grocery store, you can do this, do that, but you can't go to church, whatever, and, now they can have 5,000 people at a, protest or 500 people at a funeral, but if, my grandmother passed away, I could only have 10 people, so, there's something wrong. That's my editorial for today, so. Anyhow, I thank everybody for participating and,
Motion to adjourn.
is there a second?
Second.
Take
All in
care,
favor,
everybody.
aye?
Aye.
Everyone stay safe, stay well, stay healthy.
Good seeing everybody. Stay safe.
They say,
Okay.
meeting adjourned 10:15.
Bye.
Thank you, Karen. Thank you, Rich.
You're welcome.
Tony, Bob.
Take care,
Kevin,
see you, John, Jay.